Hello everybody, this is Bradley from Race Beacon, and today I'm going to be giving you all of the latest updates in the 2023 driver market. So as you can see from this tweet from Formula Racers, we're getting the headline from Formula 1 for all that Williams were originally expecting to sign Oscar Piastri for 2023. Now this is no surprise in that sense. I'm more going to go into the analysis of what this all means. I've covered in my streams before and I've covered in videos before that Williams did think, along with Alpine thinking they were going to have Alonso, Williams thought that they were going to have Piastri. Now, news came out not too long ago that Piastri had actually turned down the Williams deal. And I don't think they were expecting that because they had deals in place with Alpine. And I assume the Williams deal was turned down once Webber and Piastri, Webber being Piastri's agent, as you all know, after they secured the McLaren driver next year. So we're going to take a dive into this article to get all of the latest updates. So here we are on the site. So obviously Williams were expecting to sign Oscar Piastri for 2023. And there's actually some interesting comments at the bottom of this page. So stay around for that. We'll be there in just a minute's time. So we start off this article. Prior to the public and dramatic breakdown between Piastri and Alpine, the consensus was that Piastri would spend a few seasons on loan at Williams. And again, like I said at the start of this video, that's something we knew. We knew this already. However, it seems like something that a lot of us have ignored is that Williams wouldn't have been expecting this, much like Alpine weren't expecting it. Williams and Alpine had worked together on this deal to have Piastri and send him round for the seats. So when Alonso magically disappears and they've got a free seat and Piastri's off, it sort of throws everything into disarray. So this is the reason we haven't had an announcement for that second driver at Williams the same time as Alex Albon. This also confirms to me, seemingly, unless they're renegotiating with Latifi at the moment, which there's been no talk of, that Latifi will be out of sport next year, like we thought and like we've covered in previous streams and videos. Simply because Williams didn't announce both drivers at the same time, that's a good hint that we're not getting some continuity in that Williams team, and there will be a new driver alongside Alex Albon. Now, who that other driver is going to be, I've mentioned it in previous videos, but again, that's a little bit lower down in this article. We'll get there in a moment. As it happens, neither of these seemingly obvious scenarios transpired. Yes, thank you for that, Sebastian and Fernando. So as we see here, the confirmation that Alonso's moved to Aston Martin, irrespective of the Piastri-Alpine collapse, putting the ambitions of signing a 21-year-old out of the window. So yeah, that Alonso move, it caught Alpine, who obviously were working with Williams, like I said, with this deal, completely unawares. It caught them completely unawares. They were not expecting this one bit. And yeah, it's completely thrown off the deal that they had, and McLaren are sitting there in the corner happily. With Piastri heading to McLaren, kind of, yeah, well, I'm sure there'll be more updates on that at some point. There is uncertainty about the Grove-based team's next move. Nicholas Latifi still offers the British squad significant financial and commercial value, too right, and I think that's the biggest point going for him right now. It's, oh no, you couldn't hire that, really good driver with a deal with Alpine that probably would have had them paying some of the wages or something along those lines. Especially considering that Williams are looking at getting those Renault power units in their cars in the next couple of years. I imagine that would come with very heavy discounts when that does eventually happen. And after the collapse of the Piastri deal, that could give Latifi at least a fighting chance of keeping his seat. And as this article correctly says, in my opinion, there is no doubt Latifi's position seemed doomed with Piastri incoming, but recent events have complicated the situation for Williams. And you know what? There's definitely a bigger chance now that Latifi's going to be keeping his seat than before all of this happened, because I'm fairly sure the chances before was 0%. Now there's at least a slim chance if Williams do need to go for that money. So who do Williams sign in? Who's the replacement here? Well, as I did in my Complete the Grid video, and as I've mentioned in previous streams, Logan Sargeant is the most obvious and currently the most heavily rumoured option as well. With the Formula 2 driver who, I have to say, is well on track to get his super license this season. If he finishes, well, as this article says, if he finishes in the top 5 in Formula 2, he will have enough points to secure his super license, which will allow him to race in Formula 1. Williams CEO Jos Capito, and this is where words can sometimes come back to bite you, had previously spoken about the risks of signing Sargeant for next season. That said, Capito made these comments a month ago, likely when preparations were already being made for Piastri's arrival. And we had some news coming out today that Piastri had actually gone as far as having a seat fitting with Williams. So that move was very far in. I think all the contracts would have been completely agreed. And they've gone, you know what, I don't want to drive for Williams. I don't want to drive at the back of the grid for 2 years. I'm going to drive for McLaren. because they're wanting this option and, you know, I'm going to take it. As we hear, it remains to be seen if Williams are going to offer Sargeant a 2023 contract. We're still waiting on that, and honestly, it might come down to how good his performances are at the end of this Formula 2 season. If he can finish in the top 3, top 2 in the championship, I think he's in with a great shout. If he finishes 5th and just scrapes a super license, considering this Formula 2 grid isn't brilliant, it's by no means the best we've seen recently, I don't think it'll bode too well for him. Alpine, meanwhile, and here's some more news that we got today. Alpine, meanwhile, have received multiple multiple offers. Apparently we're up to 8 drivers now. It was 14, I believe now we're down to 8 drivers from Formula 2 and Formula E. So Otmar Safnauer said that earlier today. We're down to about 8 drivers or so from Formula 2 and Formula E. But, again, as this article goes on to say, Daniel Ricciardo is the favourite. He still seems to be the favourite, and they're the one that they've had the most contact with. That doesn't mean all that contact's been positive, but it is the driver they've had the most contact with. However, Ricciardo's departure from Alpine could have a sour taste in the French team, making the task of confidently predicting F1 grid next season a difficult one. Oh, trust me, yes it is. I think we've got about 18 of 20 on the grid completely set up now, but yeah, there's a remaining 2 or 3 seats there that we're not really too sure about. It would be speculative to suggest that Nico Hülkenberg, Nick de Vries, Stoffel van Dorn, or any other free agent are in contention for a 2023 seat. Yeah, they haven't been linked. I see a lot of people in the comments repeatedly saying, oh, what about Nick de Vries? What about Stoffel van Dorn? I don't, Hulkenberg as well. I just don't see it happening. They've had years and years out of sport. De Vries never even getting here in the first place. And they're all aging drivers. I really don't see them as the best options. However, Alonso's move to Aston Martin, which went entirely under the radar. I know who heard that happening. Has opened Pandora's box, has served as a reminder that nothing can be written off in Formula 1. And as I say in all these videos, we call silly season for a reason. Anything could happen. And if you want to keep up to date with every single twist and turn all throughout this month and beyond, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to get all of the latest news as it drops. Also, let me know down in the comments section who you think Williams are going to end up with and who you would pick if you were the Williams team boss. As ever guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day wherever you are in the world, and until next time, goodbye.